Wonderful. So the bell calls us all in. And we have Dalton here this morning to open us up with some music. Welcome, Dalton.
Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. You can clap along now. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. One more now. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day.
That felt good, didn't it? Just felt really good. Happy 4th of July to everyone. Happy celebration for this wonderful country and this wonderful center. I'm Dr. Mary Mitchell. I'm staff minister now, and that feels really good. Serving Reverend Sue, who's our senior minister. We're really feeling very blessed about how all this is working out, because next Sunday, we're welcoming all the children back, which is really exciting. So I want to be here to just cheer them on. So we'll see how that works out. All right, let's see. Lindy, do we have a camera to wave to? She's working on it. All right, good for you. So for all those at home watching and all of those around the world who are watching, please take a minute and wave to them and say hi. It's a beautiful, beautiful day here in California, in Redding. Not too smoky this morning either, which was nice. Well, we're happy you're all with us at home or wherever you are. And if you're here in the sanctuary, we'd appreciate it if you would turn off any cell phones or anything that goes beep. We'd like to celebrate birthdays in July. Can you do a birthday song? All right. How many birthdays do we have? Stand up in July? I do. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. The big 7-4. Let's all sing. Oh, yes.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
John and me.
happy birthday to you.
All right. I love being a Leo. It's wonderful. If you're new with us this morning, we have a wonderful welcome packet on the back wall, and I bet one of our ushers would be happy to bring one. Anybody new? Anybody new? Well, if you're out there in the world and you're new with us, please come by and pick one up. We're happy to have you do that during the week because we're open for business. All right, we have some focus announcements, and Robin, is Robin here? She's having a book club on Buddha's brain. That sounds fascinating. And it starts Monday, July 5th, from 2 to 4 in the social hall. It says it's an invitation to use the focus of our mind to harness the power of our attention and enhance our lives, including our relationships with others. So probably learn about your own Buddha brain and others too. Sounds fascinating. Shirley, you're here. Wave, everybody. Shirley. Nope, the other Shirley. The one that's, there's two Shirleys. Shirley Wade is offering a class, and it's called The Mindful Way Through Anxiety. Shirley. You ought to go to her class. I think you'd be a good team together. Yeah, I know, she's sharing yes. That would be a good class, like my Christy, Kristen, and Chris. Okay. Our Wednesday Zoom call with anybody who wants to join us on Zoom is now at 11 o'clock on Wednesday, and it lasts for about an hour, and it's really wonderful to check in with, there's probably 10, 15 people that show up, and we compare, are your tomatoes ripe yet, or mine, or how are things going, and what's new, and how's your dog, and we just have a really nice time socializing. That's on Wednesday. Yes, Children's Church is returning next Sunday, and we're really excited about that. And you can now sign up for classes online on our website, which is something we've been wanting to do for years, and now that's totally possible. All right, we have a reading by Dalton, and then I'll invite the bell 3 times to a spiritual mind treatment, our form of affirmative prayer, and then Reverend Sue will talk about we hold these truths. No, that's just it. We hold these truths. That's a good topic. All right, Dalton.
Good morning. The reading this morning is simply entitled, A Story. After years of searching, the seeker was told to go to a cave in which he would find a well. Ask the well, what is truth, and the well will reveal it to you. Having found the well, the seeker asked that fundamental question, what is truth? From the depths, go to the village crossroad. There you will find what you are seeking. Full of hope, the man ran to the crossroad, only to find 3 rather uninteresting shops. One shop was selling wires, another sold wood, the third sold thin strips of metal. Nothing and no one there seemed to have much to do with the revelation of truth. Disappointed, the seeker returned to the well and demanded an explanation, but was told that you will understand in due time. The man protested, but all he got in return were echoes of his own shouts. He felt he'd been made a fool of. Indignant, he started once again on his journey, seeking truth. Years passed. The man grew older, moved more slowly. He began taking more time in seeing things more completely. One night, as he was walking, the sound of sitar music caught his attention. It was beautiful, played with great mastery and inspiration. Profoundly moved, the truth seeker felt drawn to the sitar player. He looked at the musician's fingers moving over the strings. He began to really see the sitar itself. And then he knew the sitar was made out of wires, wood, and pieces of metal, just like those he had seen in the 3 stores at the crossroad. And at last he understood the message of the well. We have already been given everything we need. Our task is to assemble and use it. Nothing is meaningful as long as we perceive only separate fragments. But as soon as we see the fragments as a whole, a new entity emerges.
There is such a feeling of oneness here this morning. this community of one, made up of so many individuals, all created by the infinite intelligence we call God. We're so grateful to be back together again, brothers and sisters, friends, family. It lifts the spirit. It just opens our heart to the oneness of our soul with the universe. We know we're all made of star stuff, but we're all made with the grace of God. And so today, like so many days, we celebrate this country and freedom. We celebrate who we are, who this community is. We celebrate life. It is so precious. So we're always extremely grateful for all those who have served this country in so many ways. So many ways. We thank them. Those that are still here and those that are with the presence of God. So in gratitude, I say thank you, Spirit, for all of our life experiences. Thank you for our ability to give to one another and receive from one another. And thank you for your love, which rules it all. And so it is. Reverend Sue.
Good morning. Sometimes it's so much fun to find the readings, and I'm thinking, we're getting pretty good at these readings that maybe we'll just do like a 2-minute talk and just absorb the reading. That was fabulous, especially the echo of the well. Yeah. So the story is the story, and it's a story of truth, and that's where we begin. Before I launch into the topic for today, the other part of the celebration is our social hall doors are going to be open today. So there are cookies and coffee for you if you want to have a little bit of social time and get to actually talk to each other. Doesn't that sound lovely? So Bill and Shirley have made the hall look very inviting, so I really thank them for stepping up to that as we launch into a new way together. So this whole month of the theme is Pulled by Vision, and that is one of the spiritual practices that is very prominent in our organization. And it's not just an idea of having a dream or a vision and then poof, it's gone. This is something very profound in a spiritual practice, which I'll touch on a little bit, and it was brought to you organized. It's actually, the roots of it come from biblical scripture, but the roots from there were put into a formula by Dr. Reverend Michael Beckwith from the Agape Center, and he's just allowed the whole movement to be transformed by doing this spiritual practice called visioning. And the idea of being pulled by a vision is to allow that vision to be demonstrated so much from the core of who you are, from the truth of who you are, that it actually magnetically pulls you to its magnificence and to its manifestation. But grounded in that, grounded in the vision, and our country, think about it, was built on a vision. Think of the people that came to our country and colonized and then began to organize, and they had a vision. And that vision continues to play itself out this many years later, and we're a part of that vision made manifest. So on the basis of that, it all holds a truth, a very deep, profound truth. But these truths that we're going to talk about, I'm going to share one of my teachers, Gandhi, informs me a lot when I feel, is this true or is this not true? I go back to some of the Vedic scriptures, some of the some of my roots in yoga to help me see, well, what language that language speaks to me, number one, so then I am able to translate that. And is this the truth, or is this my ego trying to make it the truth? So from our global vision, from the organization overall, Jacqueline Edwards from the East Bay Church of Religious Science, she frames it, she reminds us our vision. We see a world in which each and every person lives in alignment with his or her highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other, a world in which individually, collectively, we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. Consciousness and actions. We are being and we are doing. Then Earnest Holmes tags onto this. He says, it is our ignorance of truth. We have misused this highest power we possess. And so great is this power, so complete is our freedom in it, so absolute the domain of law through it, that the misuse of this power has brought upon us the very conditions from which we suffer. He's speaking of truth. It's a timeless principle. It's a timeless wisdom. So when we speak of this truth, truthfulness, and as I go back to what I share with you from the Yoga Sutras, there is what they have, kind of like the Ten Commandments. They have moral precepts and they have ethical precepts, concepts. And this one, truthfulness, is actually the second yama, it's called, moral and ethical precept, that has to do with living in a righteous way. And it follows the first principle, which is ahimsa, nonviolence. Nonviolence, number one, do no harm, do no harm. And so truthfulness follows that. Do no harm as you speak your truth. Do no harm. So they too really dovetail together very beautifully. And so the sutra says, when we are established in truthfulness, our thoughts and words manifest effortlessly. It is about integrity and revealing the authenticity of ourself from deep in our heart. The authenticity of yourself. This is your truth. When I share from Gandhi, these were his truths, and I feel like I can align with them as my guide, as my North Star. So you all have had your access to what stirs inside of you. That is the truth I choose to follow. So truth is something that is in our thoughts, our words, and our actions. And when those thoughts, words, and actions are consistent with one another, we're not saying one thing and doing another. You see how that aligns with it, with yourself? And then when you know you're living in that truth, you know that you are in the absolute, in your own self. So you question yourself, am I just living out my life to please others? Am I simply living out now in my life experience just what is expected of me? Have I lost touch with my own beliefs, with my own intuitive sense of trusting what I know is right? It's a soul question. It's a question that really, truly, we should walk with every day. Now, this imprint of trying to please others can start at such an early age. I was thinking about in my neighborhood where I raised my children, we had built this like a playhouse out of an old shed, and the kids like to come over and climb around in that and have fun. And at one odd hour, I heard something out there, and there was a kid just randomly playing in there. And I said, and I'm not going to say her name because she might be listening. She knows. I'm carrying it. I'm carrying it 50 years later. But I said, does your mom know you're here? Yeah, she told me to come over here. So here's my imprint on here. Oh, really? Looking down at this little innocent child. And I thought, what a look I gave that little innocent child. She just wanted to play. but she was using the story. But I was in that moment acting like, the overseer. And it didn't take long. I said, well, let's call your mom, just to make sure she knows that you're over here. No, it's okay, I got to go home now. Oh, boom. But I thought, that's, did I teach her a lesson? Did I scorn her? What did I do? What did I impress on her at that moment? And we go through many moments in our life where we are actually influencing others without even knowing it. But I come back to your own life, and are you visioning your own life? Because the vision begins wholeheartedly with trusting the divine voice that is whispering your own way to you. That's intuition. That divine voice is whispering to you. It is a voice that you can trust, and it becomes your compass, your North Star for your quest, for your vision, for the follow-through, for your actions for which you want to make right in your experience and living. So ask yourself if you've been a little bit off course lately. Have you felt disconnected, separated, or lost? And one of the certain ways to get back on course, listen to that still small voice within the divine. We call that process visioning. It's a process that, again, comes out from Agape, from Michael Beckwith. And he says, visioning basically takes the manifestation process out of the hands of our ego and puts it in the hands of spirit. Not that manifesting through other means, through visualizing and intention setting, mind mapping, and different things, using your imagination, nothing's wrong with any of that. But what I'm speaking to here is a language that this teaching takes you by the hand and leads you towards, because we're looking at the kingdoms of consciousness. Now, that first kingdom that they talk about in consciousness, life happens, we've all lived through this, life happens to me. Remember when you were there, life happens to me. That's why this philosophy is a challenge for some, because the philosophy offers it back to you to take personal responsibility for everything that you're going through. But there were times when you felt like you were the victim. It's happening to me. And then the next level is it's happening by me. So you start to take some ownership. You start to realize that you are, as James Golden said years ago, you're the common denominator in all the situations that you're going through. Remember that. It's no one else's fault. You're the common denominator. So you're no longer the victim in this level of consciousness. We start taking responsibility for what we're thinking and choosing. For our decisions, we're starting to realize that we are co-creating here in this universe. But still, there's a lot of effort and there's a vigilance that we're trying to pay attention to. Then we go into a point where we want to let go of some of our control, of trying to make things happen through us, by us. And it starts to go into the third level. Life happens through me. Hear that, feel that. Life, my experience, is happening through me. And when we align ourselves as a divine conduit, it is acting through the divine, through us. We become the instrument. We start to have dominion here. And we realize there's more to life than getting stuff and getting our way. We start to surrender to this divine spirit and let it use us. That beautiful Ricky Byers song, use me, use me, use me. And that you start to realize as you evolve spiritually, this is the level of consciousness that is much more joyful to live. You still have so much responsibility. And at this level, visioning is where it starts to work as a natural attribute of your spiritual practices. Now, the fourth level they talk about is life happens just as me. It just is. Life is, divine is, God is, I am. That is the fourth level of consciousness. I and the Father are one. I and the Father are one are no longer words that you say that kind of feel kind of cool to say, but they invoke inside of you a divinity, and you recognize I am one with the source here, and it is happening as me now. No ego attached at all. It is happening, and you know, each and every one of you know when you're in that flow. There's a peacefulness to that. But we're going to look at that consciousness, that kingdom of consciousness in that level 3 where Spirit is acting through me. Here's something else Earnest Holmes reinforces. Consciousness means the inner embodiment of an idea through the recognition of truth, and a direct relationship to the divine. Truth and the divine operating together. In that knowing, then, we are guided by right choices and right action. We are listening to the truth from within. Now, some of you might have wandered away from your intuition. And what is before that intuition is just the thin veil of fear or apprehension. Ooh, should I really wear that? That's mine today. Should I really wear this? And then somebody will say, that color looks so bold on you and so bright. Oh yeah, I knew that. On one level, I knew that. But this intuition, it's weird how it can come in such a simple way, like what should I wear today? And then you just are in it. So looking at this body, I'm going to invite you into thinking of your own life here, because this is not about me and what I'm wearing. It's about you and your intuition. How close are you? How close are you to the divine? How close are you to hearing that whisper? So the divine shows up by body sensations, feelings. That's how your body is going to communicate to you. I mean, do we get this, that this body, this is the vehicle for the divine to express itself? So of course it's going to be filled with feelings and sensations and a vibrancy, and they are clues to your inner answers. You know, we all know when we're not telling the truth. We know it. There's no shaming involved. But there's a quickening inside of us that we realize, I didn't really quite tell the whole truth there, but the story I just told is way cooler than the one really happened. I'm getting a little more attention here. We all know those moments if we expand them out. And so if you can't speak the truth, stay silent. But look at these felt sensation as your clues. And any question that you ask will probe deeper and deeper into your consciousness, so you discover, what is God's greatest vision for me? When we sit together, we did this with the ministerial search team. We sat in a holy circle and we asked those questions. What is the highest and the best for this center? We let go of trying to pull and dictate and frame and shove somebody into a position, but we start with the spiritual practice of visioning the qualities of the divine to be inspired in the new minister that walks our halls in the future, in the near future. And may I put my ego out there and try to control it a little bit. But let's look at this idea of visioning. And what is the highest? That's the very first question. What is God's greatest vision for me? So if you personalize it, if you're in a place right now of shift or change, or you want to know, what are my next steps? Instead of forcing it upon yourself, sit silently and listen. And then you ask, as you get images, sensations, feelings, as your mind populates with different images of something that might not make sense, but the divine is trying to get your attention. And so you look at that, you look at those different descriptions, and you start to piece it together, you start to journal it. And then the next question, what must I become? What must I become to allow the divine to move and operate through me, to fulfill this divine vision, to fulfill this dream? And what must I let go of? What must I become? What must I let go of? And what else is there I need to know? And you listen. in the lap of the divine, and it percolates through. And then you realize, in order for my highest vision to be made manifest, is there anything else I need to know? It's a dialogue, a conversation. This is how we talk to the divine. So in this attunement, I love this idea that when here we are trying to seek a truth from within, what can we let go of and what can we choose now to guide us forward? All of it is worth listening to. Emotions, sensations, trusting the language of your body, trusting the sound of your own voice inside of you, its wisdoms, dropping your guard and being at ease with what you discover. Be amazed and smile with what you discover that percolates through, and don't be afraid, because you've got the divine empowering you to move forward. This is the attunement to that inner wisdom, that intuitive knowing that helps us demonstrate in our life now by acting on divine principle and not reacting to just what is going on all around us. We start being authentic in our living and no longer hiding. So if you're feeling that there is something pulsing inside of you that you are longing to do, but a fear and a resistance keeps shifting everything, keeps making you blocked from the possibilities and the potentiality of your true self, recognize and stand in that truth. You can stand and posture yourself, and knowing it takes courage to align yourself with the vision. It took courage for our forefathers to create a country as we have. It takes courage to protect our country now. It takes courage. And so we want to stand in our vision, and in any way that we can stand to that calling. We want to honor what is ours to do. We want to listen more without judgment, without those conflicting feelings when they arise. Even sit with those as they answer themselves through you. Now, getting through the body is one step. We get that part. But then we have to face our mind, right? Oh no, she's going to talk about the mind now and my thoughts. Yeah, that gets in the way as well. Our mind is so full of perceptions and inferences and impressions and conditioned to respond, right? And here we're called to go beyond the limitations of the intellect. So in True Yoga, this is a book written by Jenny Lee, and she's referring back to the sutras. We need to go to the realization of truth through intuition, perceptible in deep stillness, where we find the bridge from individual consciousness, from our individual self, to that potentiality of the universal consciousness. Wow. And the thoughts that we have give us an indirect perception of truth, but intuition is giving us the experience of truth from within. So we're tapping into an extrasensory awareness. And to get there, we have to stop in striving to control it by defending our beliefs, defending our viewpoints. There's an aspect of surrender here, which I will share in a few moments, of what Gandhi says, humility. Humility. Take yourself to zero. Hard to do. Hard to do when we want to fight our fight, when we want to be right. But he said the idea here is to let go of the ego's need to be right and simply fall into the grace of the guidance of the divine within. The Sufis say, when you're checking your thoughts, is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it? Is it kind? Necessary? True? It's a good motto to follow and share and stay silent as you maintain your integrity. So I continue to share these concepts of truth as we try to discover what are my truths. So I put that back into your own heart. What are your truths? What are you willing to believe in, no matter how the world tries to shake you off your core values and your core truth? Where do you anchor your personal power and base it on spiritual principle? What do you consistently plug into yourself to carry your vision forward? What are you getting your energy and inspiration from? Cher Matthews, a member here, uses this over and over. Love is all there is. No matter what is distracting her, knocking at the gateway of her heart to tear her down, love is all there is. And if you can continue to call for this peace in the world that displays violence and greed, can you be in an unconditional love at the deepest level and practice your truth there? Can you practice nonviolence no matter what? Can you speak truth even when it's unpopular? That is what Earnest Holmes says is spiritual conviction. What the world needs is spiritual conviction followed by spiritual experience. I would rather see a student of this science prove its principle than to have him repeat all the words of wisdom that have ever been uttered. It is far easier to teach the truth than to practice it. There's a talking to right there from our Earnest Holmes. And another beautiful quote, to realize within oneself there is this divine presence, a perfect person, and we call that, in the knowing of this truth, that Christ idea. No one walks life's road alone. There is ever another, a Christ presence within you, in your inner self with the capital S, an undying reality. Let us learn to be still and let that truth speak through us, to be still and know that inner light is always shining. It's just so beautiful. There was I'm going to share some of Gandhi's wisdoms here, and then we'll close with a prayer of supporting this truth within you. So this particular book is Gandhi's The Way of God, and this particular chapter, truth. What is it? What is truth? A difficult question, he says, but I solved it. I solved it for myself. It is that voice within that tells you. How then, you ask, do different people think so many different and contrary truths? It is because at the very present moment, everybody claiming the right of consciousness without going through any discipline whatsoever, there is so much untruth being delivered in a bewildered world. All that I can say in true humility present to you is that truth is not to be found by anybody who has not got an abundant sense of humility. And so he says, if you would swim to the bottom of the ocean of truth, you must reduce yourself to zero. Truth is within you. There is an innermost center in all of us where truth abides in fullness. Wrongdoers know within themselves when he is doing wrong, and untruth cannot be mistaken for truth. Truth and righteousness must forever remain the law of God's world. And the law of truth is merely understood to mean that we must speak the truth, but we must understand the word is therefore. Much wider sense, there should be truth in thought, in speech, and action. Think about that. It's not just what you say. It's what you do. It's how you are. It's the aura of your being when you're out at the supermarkets. It's how you present yourself in the world. Let the idea of truth and love precede you, and let that idea of love meet others. Truth is a source of character based on virtuous action, and it's grounded on truth. Truth then is the source and foundation of all things that are good and great. Hence, fearless and unflinching pursuit of the ideal of truth and righteousness is the key of true health. How to realize it? How do you do that? Which may be likened to the philosopher's stone or the cow of plenty, by single-minded devotion and indifference to every other interest. Let your truth prevail. Silence, he says, is a great help to the seeker about truth. In the attitude of silence, the soul finds the path in clearer light. What is elusive and deceptive resolves into crystal clearness. In those moments of deep, abiding meditation, that crystal clarity comes forth. Our life is a long, arduous quest for truth, and our souls require an inward restfulness to attain its full height. Experience has taught Gandhi that silence is part of the spiritual discipline of a of truth. Proneness to exaggerate, to suppress, to modify, wittingly or unwittingly, is the natural weakness of man, but silence is necessary to surmount it. A man of few words will rarely be thoughtless in his speech. He will measure every word. Can we try that this week? Measure every word. And he goes on to finally say, how beautiful it would be if all of us, young, old, men, women, devoted ourselves wholly to the truth in all that we do in our waking hours, whether working, eating, drinking, playing, till pure, dreamless sleep claim us for her own. God as truth has been for me a treasure beyond price. May it be so for every one of us. The pursuit of truth is true bhakti. Bhakti is devotion. It is the path that leads us to God. There is no place in it for the coward, no place for defeat. It is the talisman by which death itself becomes the portal of life eternal. Truth. Dalton, let's go there. As you digest some of the information today, and you allow yourself to be willing to sit in the questions long enough. What is God's idea of me now? What is the greater idea? And what must I become and what must I let go of? And we listen inwardly to the body, to the intuition. And we listen to what we feel is true. And we sit with it even longer until we polish that truth. Knowing that as we align ourselves with the one, with the divine oneness, we recognize that as though we are a part of all of humanity, we take our lead, we take our guidance from love itself. As we allow that divine knowing, that Christ-like center, to invoke inside of us a truth that does no harm, that is necessary now to speak the power of our word, to move this world forward in a way that takes care of one another on every level, takes care of the air quality, the water quality, every animal, every fish and every bird, every human. As we allow ourselves to be the spiritual humans on the planet at this time, we recognize that we are allowed the gifts of the divine with every breath. And it is ours to do the divine's work, to invoke peace, love, beauty in all that we do, with every step that we take. We ask, is this true? Is this worthy? And stand in the answer. So I give thanks for a community that is at that level of consciousness, that third kingdom of consciousness that allows Spirit to use us as the instruments of a greater good manifesting right here, right now on this planet. We are the catalyst for change. And we stand in that, as Cher would say, because love is all there is. I give thanks for that truth. That truth alone is all we need. Thank you, God, and so it is. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Dalton. And he's going to play now a song to take your heart home.
I would like it, if at all possible, for you guys to find somebody nearby you, could be to your left, to your right, that you can look at while we sing this, or at least when I cue you. Even if you can find a couple of people, that would be ideal. I'm going to call them person A and B. If they're the same person, that's not a problem. I'm free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited. Right now, right now. I am free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited right now. Find person A. You are free, you are unlimited. There are no chains that bind you. You are free, you are unlimited. Right now, right now. You are free, you are unlimited. There are no chains that bind you. You are free, you are unlimited right now. If there's a different person B, you can sing to them. You are free, you are unlimited. There are no chains that bind you. You are free, you are unlimited. Right now, right now. You are free, you are unlimited. There are no chains that bind you. You are free, you are unlimited right now. Go ahead and look on back up at me now. 'Cause we are free, we are unlimited. There are no chains that bind us. We are free, we are unlimited. Right now, right now. We are free, we are unlimited. There are no chains that bind us. We are free, we are unlimited right now. Oh, I say we are free, we are unlimited. There are no chains that bind us. We are free, we are unlimited right now, right now. We are free, we are unlimited. There are no chains that bind us. We are free, we are unlimited right now. Saying we are free, we are unlimited right now.
And that's the truth, isn't it? Oh, that was beautiful. So perfect. So absolutely perfect. All right. You know, I just want to share that I've been invited to do a radio show Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock on KKRN 88.5. Starts next Saturday, and it's Off the Shelf with Mary. It's about 2 books I'll highlight. And Gandhi was the one I just did, Gandhi the Man. And oh my gosh, that was so wonderful. Yeah, I'll have some flyers or something, but it's really exciting, but it's like writing a Sunday talk every week to talk for a half hour on the radio. So anyway, it's very exciting, and that's my truth right now for me, to share all these thousands of books I've got. Yeah, it is. All right, it's time for the offertory, and right now we are still going to have the baskets at this entrance, the main entrance here, if you would like to make a donation or part of your pledge to the center for today. We really appreciate that. So please repeat after me. Greatly I give with an attitude of abundance. For I know as I give, I do receive. And that's a big truth, the big G truth. All right, we're going to say our affirmation. And I wanted to remind you, I'm still a practitioner. And if you would like a prayer after service, I'll be here by the bell. Just come up and we can talk and do a prayer. Love to get back into that habit of doing that for people. All right. So please repeat after me. There is only one life. And that life is God's life. And that life is perfect. And that life is my life now. Big T truth, there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is my life and your life now. Beautiful. All right, Dalton, sing us out.
It's a good 4th of July song, I think. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand one day. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace one day. Yeah. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. For we are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. No, no. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. The whole wide world around, the whole wide world around, the whole wide world around one day. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. Oh, we shall overcome someday.